speaking of your wife, has she always been totally supportive, or have there been moments where she's, kind of said enough's enough? Because, when you're invested into these guys, that's one thing. But I guess, I guess, 6 degrees of separation in somewhat she's invested into it too.
Yeah.
Like I totally get it because,
Yeah.
you're a family, this is the business and so forth. But when you say bring in alcoholics to your house, because as you say, you do open your house to these guys and things like that, are there moments that, she's kind of said, hey, listen, I appreciate what you're doing, but let's book him a hotel. Let's book him a hotel or something because, like, I'm just not really enjoying it right now.
I think one of the best things I ever did, and I'm not going to say like I did this intentionally. This is really just was that when I started dating my wife, Cheeto Vera was living with me. And so house. So I would tell her like, hey, do you mind if I bring my client on this date as a third wheel? And she okay with it. And so like to start our relationship, she got thrown into the fire real quick
Hang
per
on.
se,
I'm
right? Like
I'm
she
I'm
had these.
totally losing you again. I just heard that you took him for a
Shoot,
third
okay.
wheel. You took him for a third wheel.
Yeah, I'll backtrack. So when I started dating her, Cheeto was living with me. He had moved from Ecuador to the States,
Okay.
and I would say, "Hey, I don't want to leave him behind. That's messed up. He speaks English. He's left. Do you mind if I Spanish?" So a lot of our first dates, Cheeto was there. So from the very first time meeting, this fight game has been a part of our relationship, and that times with Lewis was extremely tough for her and for me. And that's probably the most we ever fought because at times she thought I was better on him. And I would tell her like, babe, I have to be. I have no other choice. This is what's needed for me to help him. So I'm just really thankful that she's been with me on every step of the way. I mean, I think I always tell the story and she gets mad when I tell it. But, you know, 3 weeks before we got married, not that I knew, but if there ever was a sign, one of our clients, Frank Camacho, got knocked out at a UFC fight and she was bawling. It was a mess. I mean, we had to like leave the arena. It was so bad, like mascara everywhere, tears everywhere. And at that moment, I knew that she was the one for sure because it should mean that much to you. If it doesn't mean that much, you shouldn't do it. I feel like, I always say that like when you're in this business, it should hurt that bad. The high should feel that high and the low should feel that low. And when it doesn't, you need to walk away. And so I'm lucky that my life partner, I mean, she ride every low. When Lewis wins, she's going. When Lewis loses, she's a bloody mess. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Saturdays in our houses are roller coasters, and we love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
So is she theoretically now part of the business also? Like when you say she rides these highs and lows, like how? I mean, I know that last trip you did to Fight Island, I think she came along with you and stuff. Like, is she there as a support structure, or have you actually brought her into the business? Like, is she like? Well, I guess what I'm asking is she more than just emotionally invested?
Yes, she is definitely a part of the business. In fact, like a few of my clients always joke around that Yusuf or Luigi Vendramini, they'll make jokes like, "Hey, Elisa," and it's like a running joke, that their manager and stuff. So, she,
I don't know what it is. I've totally lost you
millions of
again.
Contender Series
I've
broke
to-
out.
I've totally lost you
Yeah,
again. So
shoot, we're doing good for a second there.
apparently
I'll run it back.
there's an inside joke.
Yes, there's an inside joke. I mean, that some of my clients say that no, Elise is my manager, not Jason. Like Luigi Vendramini, Yusuf Zalal, they'll joke with her like that. Elise is my manager. She's the one that talks to Sean and gets me fights. Or Elisa should go talk to Sean. She'll do better than you can. So it's like that we have at the agency, and she plays an active role. Like even tonight, she's bringing dinners of fighters that are on quarantine before their Contender Series fights tomorrow. She's always finding ways to constantly help them in any way, shape, or form.